Hi, friends. It's me, Stacy, and thank you guys for joining me today for a fun reading sprint and a little bit of an update on the Olympics Readathon. Of course, I'm Stacy, and here is my friend Brandy, who is also participating in the Olympics Readathon. Brandy does not have a YouTube channel, but she does have a blog, and if you go to the creepingdeath.org forum, you can find her blog and see all the cool things that she's up to.
Yeah,
so we already have a couple people on here. Like we got, we got Ashley. Ashley's joined us.
Hey, Ashley.
And we've got the e-reader.
Hello.
Bright and Booked. Oh, I'm sorry, Bright and Bookish. Thank you guys all for joining. So the first thing, I don't know about you, Brandy, but this readathon has really challenged me to read a lot more. And I've already read 10 books this month. And that's usually about what I read in a month period. So how have you been doing?
I think I finished my 10th today. Let me just double check. I think, yeah, I did finish my 10th today. Jeez. And it was just a small book, but it is challenging me. I usually read about that much in a month too. And I really wanted to do the whole 16. So I'm trying.
I told myself at the beginning of the month, there's no way I'm doing 16. I'm not even going to try. And then now I'm like, just 8 more. I could do it.
Is it 16 or 18?
I'm sorry, 16. Just 6 more.
I'm
even better.
Just double checking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 6 more.
Though.
It has been. So I have my bullet journal here, and it's really messy because I keep whiting things out. I'm like, I don't feel like that, and I white it out and find something else. Like, you're just so pretty.
No.
See, you actually knew what you were going to read. I started out with one TBR.
But I'm going to change my Poseidon. So I don't know to what yet. But I had originally had Cyro's Claw in Poseidon, and I have 2 more fantasy books I'm reading, and I think I'm going to be kind of fantasied out. So I'll pick that one up next month.
Yeah, I had to stop reading fantasy too. I just finished reading a cozy mystery called The Cruelest Month, which is the 3rd book in the Inspector Gamache. I think that's how you say his name. It's a story about this small town in Canada where people just keep dying because there's a million books in the series. And they're each of him coming to the small town to solve a murder. But I love the characters. They're so good. It's like a wholesome kind of mystery, even though people are murdered. But
as wholesome as murder can be.
I really like comedic murder mysteries, where funny things happen. I know that but that always puts me in a better mood. And some of the characters in that series are friggin' hilarious. And the way they interact with each other, I just want to move there. Yeah. Bright and Bookish. She says she's changing her TBR too.
Yeah, there's a couple pieces, like a little chessboard that I've moved just to.
Well, yeah. Sometimes, you like you said, you got to know your reading, right? If you don't do things that are comfortable for you, you could end up in a slump, which is no good for you. So you have to be able to move things around. I ended up changing mine because I ended up being on a different team than I originally anticipated. So I'm on Team Eos, and the book for our team, or the prompt for our team, is to read the first book in a series. Well, I had made a challenge for myself to not start any new series until I got my list of series down to a manageable size. So I ended up reading a manga book for Apollo, I think, and because, it was a different format. And I ended up putting that because it was the first book in a new manga series that I'd been reading. I ended up putting that for Team Eos because I just couldn't bring myself to start another large series, fantasy series, and I didn't have anything else. Yeah, so, e-reader.
My Eos is this. What song? At Yolene's suggestion. Yeah, I'm about I've got about 30% left. So I
That's
love
awesome.
it, actually. I'm really liking it. But again, it's a fantasy. But I like it because, and this doesn't really spoil anything, but it kind of just follows the same character, and then there's characters that he has that he is acquainted with, but it's not like your typical changing of viewpoints as fantasy can be sometimes. So it's pretty much just about this guy.
Is it first person or is it still third person?
It's not in first person, but there are some parts that are in first person because it's like somebody else's view of him that they keep referring back to. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like a journal of a guy that has an encounter with this character, and that part is in first person. But it's only like at the beginning of each, there's different parts of the book, and at the beginning of each, you get this other guy's account of what he thinks. So it's pretty interesting.
That kind of reminds me of the Farseer trilogy, although that is in first person. But in some of the later books, I know for sure the third one, but maybe in the second one, they give you little pieces of history about the world that you're in. And I kind of like that where it kind of takes you out of the story just for a minute at the beginning of the chapter. So that I like that format. I definitely need to read Bloodsong. I've owned it forever, and I just haven't.
I think you'll like it. It's real uncomplicated fantasy. That's how I feel after reading Malice. It's just I think it's been fun. It's been a fun read.
That's awesome. So e-reader, you say you've read 4 Stephen King books so far. I just finished Christine a couple nights ago, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I really think that my expectations for the older Stephen King always fall short of what so always underestimate my enjoyment, because people always say, oh, his older stuff is so cliche. But no, every time I read one of his older books, I'm so surprised and so very happy with it. And Christine was one of those. I really liked it.
I need to read that one. I saw the movie as a child.
But I know it's funny reading it. It takes place in like 78 or 79. And it's like the dialogue is so, obvious. Obviously, probably some younger people would have trouble trying to figure out what they're talking about most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's very dated in that way, and like going on dates and all that stuff is very dated. But it's so nostalgic, and it's like the perfect atmosphere for a horror story. Just loved it.
It's kind of nice to hear that it holds up.
I thought so, but then I am also the older generation, so.
Yeah, me too.
Maza is reading it too. I'm curious if, him being younger, what he thinks of Christine. Started Christine today. Need to finish it before the end of the month. Yes, e-reader, are you doing the constant reader book club thing where we're going to be watching the movie, I think, at the end of the month? So I'm excited because I've never seen the movie. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, awesome. I know, it's your book club. Get busy. Yes, he is part of the book club. Awesome. So I'm going to let you start, Brandy. Let us know, what is your favorite book that you've read so far with the Readathon?
Oh, goodness. I have my whole stack here, and I'm probably going to knock it over trying to get to this one. But so far, probably this is no surprise, my favorite has been it was so good. And I felt the way Yolene mentioned this too. I just wanted to keep going right away, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and get through the rest of this list that I have. And then next month, you guys, we're reading the third one.
Yes, we are.
It was really good. And I think part of that too, and we talked about this before, is that it was so much fun reading it with you guys. And the reading sprints you did on Twitter and the ones we did here, it was so much fun.
I did have a lot of fun. It was like a whole event. It really was. And it's the first time that I've ever actually hosted something like that. But also most of the readathons or, reading sprint events that I've participated in, everybody reads something different. Mm-hmm. So it was really fun to kind of read the same thing. And then while you're reading it, you're thinking, oh, I can't wait until Brandy and Ashley get to this part in the book. Yeah. So it was great.
Know. Ashley said something about a certain scene, and all she said was soup.
Yeah.
And when I got to it, I was just like, oh my gosh, she's so right. And so without spoiling it, I was looking forward to it. But then when I got to, I was wondering, am I going to know what she's talking about when I get to this? And I did. It was so much fun.
So there was a couple times where they were like serving stew or something like that. And I was like, is this the moment? Is this going to be?
Yeah. And then it finally came and you're like, oh, this is what she was talking about. It was that. Yeah, Ashley, you know what I'm talking about.
It was so much fun. That really was great. I can't say that was my favorite book that I read this month, but I did really enjoy the experience of reading it far more than anything else I read, just because it was a really good book, and doing all the readathon stuff and staying up late. I mean, normally I stay up late to read, but not that level of excitement. Felt like a kid again, getting to stay up. It was
like a slumber party. It was fun.
It was like a slumber party.
I can't see. For some reason, her comment isn't popping up on my screen.
It says shaking those mountains.
Oh.
Steve's here.
Oh. He changed his profile picture.
I know. What is he trying to look cool now?
He's a cartoon.
I like it. So Mazza says that while he was reading Christine, he has to use Google to get all the references.
Youngins.
So young.
What was your favorite book that you've read in the readathon so far?
So, I have two that are tied, but they're both very different books. So my first favorite is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which, if in the romance, was my favorite. I loved it. I really like the false marriage trope, and I think I'm just going to love all of her books. I know this is only the second one of hers that I've read, but I just love it. The characters are so much fun to follow, and so it doesn't feel like a long book. I mean, I think the last one was like 650 something pages.
Yeah, they're really long.
It doesn't feel that long though.
Yeah, none of them feel like it. She writes a long book, and I never really paid attention to the page count until this readathon, and I was reading Dear Erin by Mariana Zapata, which is another one of my favorite books so far. And I was like, dang, this book has 600 pages. Well, if it was $5.99, which kept me right under the point thing. But oh well.
Yes, one of the main characters is actually from Canada, and he's a football player. And in high school, he was dubbed the Wall of Winnipeg because was a defensive end, and I guess he was a big guy. But yeah, that's where the Winnipeg comes from. It's a good book. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's really good. Just everything she writes seems always super slow burn romance, and she does everything in different tropes, and they can all be standalone, but I've heard if you read them chronologically, you'll catch glimpses of some of your favorites from previous books.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome, Brighton Bookish. I did not even know anything about Winnipeg until I read that, and then now I see references all over the place for it. It's hilarious. As a matter of fact, I believe, Virginia McLean, if I'm not mistaken, is in Winnipeg right now. She's not from Winnipeg. I think her husband is, but. So I heard that, and I was like, I know where that is. Otherwise, I wouldn't have.
It's a cute story.
other favorite that I read this month was The Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb, the final book in the Farseer trilogy. Oh, I honestly, Robin Hobb is really good at making you feel emotions when you read her books. Her characters they're just so great. But I sobbed. Like, my husband was like checking on me to make sure I was okay. Although I sobbed during reading Wall of Winnipeg also. So,
were they good sobs?
They were good, happy sobs, both times.
Robin Hobb was too?
Yes. It's just so many, you feel so much for the characters that when good things happen to them, you can't help but just let it all out. Yeah. And that's how I felt both times. But obviously, Assassin's Quest was a bit more of, no pun intended, a quest to get through than the Wall of Winnipeg, but it was worth it. I was so glad to finish that trilogy. And I'm actually, today I'll be reading the third book in the Live Ship Trader trilogy, which I put off so that I could finish Farseer first, because they go in order, and I didn't know that when I started the Live Ship Trader trilogy. And so I'm really excited for today's reading sprints, because I started it already last night. I'm only 88 pages in, and it's just nice to be back with those characters.
I'm definitely going to start some Robin Hobb next month. And I told Steve I'm not going to have a TBR next month. There are 3 books I have to read next month, like the second in the Raven's Shadow that comes after Blood Song. And I think there's a couple more that we're reading. But other than that, I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to read Robin Hobb. I told him I'm going to read maybe some Jane Austen. I'm just going to see where the wind takes me next month, especially after having this structured month of sticking to this list, which has been fun, but I need a...
So Maza, I'll read anything that she publishes, even a horror story. And I can imagine it's going to be very... I don't even want to think about it because I'm probably going to sob in it. It's going to be a horror story that I sob in. So guys, whoever's here watching, Maza, Brighton Bookish, Ashley, if you're still here, what are you guys going to read today in today's reading sprint? Or even what was your favorite book that you've read so far this month? What are you reading, Brandy?
I'm going to read... I just started this one, Daughter of the Pirate King. I have no idea why this was on my Goodreads list. It's so far, I'm just like 5 chapters in, but we'll see. I mean, I'm just going to see. I must have saw it on a video or something, and it looked good to me. It has a sequel to Daughter of the Siren Queen. So because the king and queen, I fit them in, patriarchy. I forget what prompt it is, but they fit nicely into
Zeus and Hera.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that for my Zeus and my Hera. But yeah, and I have to say, I just finished this book, I think yesterday. This one.
The Road Trip.
Yeah, it was my Hermes.
I've heard of her. I can't remember if I read something by her or not.
There was something else that said here that she had written. I've never read her before. And it started out kind of slow, and this was another one that I heard from someone that it was good, and it was so good. It was just like it had 2 different tropes, what would you say? It was a second chance kind of romance.
Oh, I like that
and
too.
Then you have forced proximity romance. So it was those 2 things, and it was just really super cute if anyone's looking for it.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to check that one out, when I need a good break.
Yeah, there's a couple of heavy topics in it, but for the most part, it was a pretty cute book.
That's good. You always have. It's like you're the person that goes and tests the water for me, because romance isn't my usual go-to genre, so I don't know where to even look. And so it's always nice to hear you when you say you loved a book, because I know I'm going to like it. Yeah. Hope, I read Midnight Library last month. It was so good. Another book I sobbed at. I have not read Tigana, Reading Rain, but I do have another book by Gabriel whatever his name, Gabriel. Not right now, I can't remember the name of it, but I've heard his books are really good, so I'm excited to kind of start reading that same author. And Ashley, how are you liking Unplugged? I've heard I've had a few other people who've read it really liked it. I haven't read it. My husband wants to read it, but he hasn't picked it up yet. And Maza, he's reading Unplugged too.
I'm gonna have to get that one.
And
or maybe Steve has it. He probably does.
Rain is reading Dresden Files. I thought we talked. Did I talk to you about Dresden Files?
You and I talked about it, but you were recommending something else, and you said it was like Dresden Files. Yeah, we had.
Josh Erickson has a series where the main character really reminds me of Dresden, but he's not a wizard. He's a con man who gets the spirit of a god stuck in his brain, but he's hilarious. The whole book is funny, but it's an urban style fantasy, and I really liked it. So reading bro, if you want to try something like the Dresden Files, and that's self-pub, go check out Josh Erickson's series. The first book is Hero Forged. I can't remember the name of the series. My favorite has been The Reluctant Queen. Last in the Queen. Oh, I haven't read any of the Queens of Renthia. I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah.
Brandy, do you have a good...
Yes, I do. I've been trying to find you, Ashley, on Goodreads, and I keep searching for you, and I can't find you. I'm somehow going to have to connect with you on Goodreads. But yes, I have a very long Goodreads list.
Yeah, I stalk her on Goodreads, y'all. Whenever Brandy posts something, I'm there going, is it a 5-star read? Am I going to pick it up next?
I'll figure out how to get it to you, or to somehow, because I know you have your link on Twitter. I have to just figure out how to do the Twitter thing.
All right. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about the Olympics Readathon in the middle of our reading sprint. So we're going to do a 20-minute reading sprint starting here in a few minutes. And then we'll come back, we'll do some chat, talk about what we've read, how many pages we got done, all that good stuff. And then we'll do another 20-minute reading sprint. And then we'll do some closing chats and we'll finish. And I hope that all you guys have fun today. At the very least, you get some reading done, because I don't know about you, but I have really been challenged, like I said, but I also have found that the challenge has put me in a little bit of a reluctant to read mood. I have a lot of really good books that are on my, to finish this month, but I've kept picking one up and then putting it down. And so I really needed this, and I hope you guys are here because you need it too. So Pete, you guys said what you're reading. So let's go ahead and we're going to read starting in 2 minutes. I'm going to create a banner. This is my first time creating banners on here. I'm excited. So we'll read until 8:15, which is my time, but it'll be 15 minutes after the hour wherever you guys are. I'll put 15 after. Okay, I got to get rid of Reading Bro's comment first. Bear with me, guys.
I'm excited to see the banner.
Oh, JB, yes. There's lots of people here who are reading Unplugged. You should be honored, but you deserve it, dude. I will read your book one day, I promise. I don't know how to do this. There we go.
There you go.
I'm good. Tell Steve I will be a pro at this before long. Okay, guys. Well, let's go ahead and start the reading sprint. We'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Have fun. I'm going to be muting myself.
Me too.
Beep, beep, beep.
Okay.
I do not want to stop.
No, me either.
I have trouble. I had one page before the end of the chapter, and it was so tempting to just keep reading. How much did you get?
Not too far. And these pages there's not very much on the page. I don't know what it is about reading sprints, but I read slower.
It might be distracting.
I know I'm always looking up to see if anyone's commenting. Am I missing anything? I have FOMO.
No, you're not missing anything. So I got 13 pages, which is pretty good for a 20-minute sprint. Yeah. There were a couple scenes in here that made me laugh out loud. I was glad I was muted. I love Robin Hobb. So there's this one scene. I'm just going to read it to you because it's hilarious. Let me find it. So there's a group of females on this ship. So the Live Ship Trader series is about traders who obviously they trade with ships and pirates. But there's a group of women. Women don't tend to be on ships at this particular place in this world. But there's a group of women on this ship, and one of them is teasing another who has kind of a crush on the captain. And she says, what do you think about the captain? What kind of women do you think he likes? And she says, let me speculate. Perhaps he is always praising his crew for working smart and lively. That is what he prefers in a woman, one who is quick to run his rigging and lower his canvas. It's like she's teasing though. She knows that the other woman has a crush on the captain, so she's teasing her. But I thought it was funny. And if you know the characters, it's even that much better.
I'm excited to get into Robin Hobb.
I really hope you like. I know Assassin's Apprentice was not a great introduction for me, but having told you that, I think if you'll expect that, and so it'll be a lot better. If that makes sense.
And just from different people I've heard describe Assassin's Apprentice, it kind of sounds like the kind of emotion I'm looking for in a book.
It is
so
depressing.
I think I'll be okay because I don't mind that kind of stuff. But I think it's funny. I'm reading they're on a ship in this one too.
Is that your Poseidon book?
Yeah. No, actually, I don't know what I'm gonna read for Poseidon yet. This is my Zeus book.
Oh, that's right.
It's the pirate king, and he allows there to be a monarch on the land, but he's really the king. But this is about his daughter, and she's gotten kidnapped. And it happens pretty early in the book, so it's not going to be a huge spoiler, but she got herself kidnapped. You think she's getting kidnapped, and then she reveals that she wanted to be kidnapped because she's going to rob these guys. And I don't know, she's just kind of badass already. It's so far so super cute, but she's only 17 years old, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
That sounds cute.
Yeah.
If anybody's watching, how many pages did you guys read? So let's talk a little bit more about the Readathon. We talked about what our favorite books that we've read so far. What is the least favorite book? I think I know what yours is, Brandy, but go ahead and share.
Oh, I have it here. Let me get it. It was A Taste of Love. Is that the one you were thinking?
Yeah, that's the one you gave 2 stars, I think.
Yeah. This one. I was worried this was going to be my, what's the prompt for the food?
Oh, Demeter? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. So I was worried because it's boba tea on the front. But the whole premise premise of the book is that they're doing like a baking competition, and she's a baker and she wants to be a baker, and her parents don't want her to be because they're bakers, and they want her to be a doctor. And there's just I don't know. It was okay. It's YA, which is not like I don't know, it's not a big thing for me. It's just not my thing. And then there's little inserts of things that I just didn't enjoy, like stereotypes and political stuff. And so I just kind of look for a way to get away from it, current political stuff. But I mean, if it's historical and it was something that happened in history and the politics of history, I'm good with that. But it's I can just watch the news to see. Yeah, I can watch the news to see what's going on right now, and so I just like to escape from things in the book.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was okay. I think people will find it very cute. It's a cute story. It just wasn't my thing.
Heather, I read the 5th season. It might be almost a year ago already, and I really liked it. But for some reason, I haven't been able to start the Obelisk Gate. I think it's because too much time has passed, and now I can't really remember what's happening. And I don't want to reread the 5th season because I'm a big baby and I don't like to reread books. But let us know what did you think of the 5th season? Ashley says she's switching to her laptop. I hope that means that she's going to join us. So my least favorite, I didn't read too many. I think I have 2 3-star books. That's it. So I didn't read anything terrible. No, I have 3 3-star books. I think my least favorite was the manga that I started. I don't even know, because it wasn't even bad. 3 stars is still a pretty good rating for me. I would say that's, for me, that's like an average book. There were things that I really liked and things that I didn't like, but there wasn't anything to sway me either way. And Death Note was good. It was actually a pretty interesting story, but I didn't think the artwork was all that. You know, it was like watching a anime.
Yeah.
So without the moving, and
picture that.
And it was a little bit immature.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I've had a pretty good reading month. I've had a couple of, let's see, 1, 2. I've had 3 5-star books so far.
Let me see what I give 5 stars out like it's like crazy. That's just, I'm that girl. But if I give it 2 stars, then it means I really didn't like it. But yeah, I read my 3-star was Rockstar. I've been reading the Morgan Brothers series by Lauren Rowe, and it's I'm gonna say it's very smutty, but the stories are really cute. The characters are really funny. I laugh a lot, but the Rockstar one it was the last in the series. It just had I didn't like the characters that much. I couldn't get invested in them, but because the characters from previous books show up, I was already invested in those characters, so it made it a 3-star for me because I got to visit people that I've already met before. But yeah, that was one of my 3 stars. But these ones, Stacy recommended, and oh my gosh, I think I might be obsessed. I don't read horror. But these are getting in my head. I mean, this one I just read today. I sat on the couch and read it in a couple hours. It was so good.
It is so good. So I haven't read The 10th Girl. I don't even think I've heard of it. Have you?
No.
Brandy? She says she gave it a 2-star, so I probably won't read it.
Yeah. My comments.
Anybody else? What do you have a least favorite that you've read so far? I've only read 5. Only 5's a good amount of books, Jamie.
Yes.
So far, my dislike is the first person. I am so sad to hear that. But I've heard a lot of people who really like his novels don't really care for his short story collections. So I wonder if that's why, or tell us what was it that you didn't like about it. Hi, Leslie.
Oh gosh, Ashley, you're gonna love Daniel's books.
They're so good.
They're creepy.
Leslie knows.
Yeah,
Leslie's the reason I picked them up.
I'm only on book 2. They're so creepy.
They get so creepy.
Really sketched out.
It's it's kind of that I don't know what's happening creepy feeling, right? There's not in those first 2 books. It's I don't even know how to explain it. It's just the horror elements aren't traditional. There's no monsters or anything. And even most of the 3rd book the same, but it's that I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
That fear of the unknown.
And that's what really kind of makes it scary, is just what is going on, and you don't know because he doesn't really give away yet.
No, and that's what makes it so good.
But you feel like you're in the fight with these people trying to fight whatever it is that's affecting them, and it's just really good.
Yeah, Leslie is definitely like a mystery, but a very creepy mystery.
Yeah. So good. Oh, I forgot. My actual favorite book that I read this month, I did really love, but this one. This was so good. It's book 3 in the Kings of Ash, or in the Ash and Sands series.
You're gonna have to rate them. Rank them. Like, which one do you think was the best out of the 3?
Oh my gosh, they were all so good. But Kings of Ash was probably the best one. The middle book.
That's the second? Okay.
Yeah, which is odd because usually the second book in a series, I kind of just, it's the second book. Maybe the third is usually better, or the first is usually better, but it was good. I mean, the whole series is so good. I'm so excited we're all going to read it again. Because
I am too.
But I know we're talking about books we didn't like, but I forgot I saw it sitting there, and it feels like I read it last month, but I did read it.
I really need to I keep telling myself I'm going to start that early because I'm really excited to get to it. But it's like every time I go to okay, that's going to be the next book I read, I say, no, I need to read something before I read more fantasy.
Yeah.
And then when I'm ready for fantasy, I pick up something else. And it's not because I don't want to read that, but it's because I'm going to a fantasy world that I'm already comfortable with, because I don't want to end up in a slump. So I picked up Robin Hobb because I was like, I know I like Robin Hobb. I know I'm going to be satisfied with this read, and it'll keep me from slumping. But I'm going to read Kings of Paradise. I really am.
I like it.
JB, I think his women have zero substance in all of his books, but I've learned to accept that because they're still great stories. And it's sometimes, so Brandy, you have not read Haruki Murakami, but his books are very weird and sometimes a little bit ew, but I can't help it. It's so good. Well, you might want to try it.
On all different kinds of levels.
I wish I could warn you without spoiling things on one of the books of his.
I'll have to check it out.
Have you read N.K. Jemisin's books, Randy? So I've only read. No, that's a lie. I read her very first series, and then I read 5th Season, which is the first book of the series that Leslie is talking about here. And Leslie has given this 5 stars. She loved it, and I haven't read it yet, and I need to.
I'll have to check it out. I really like some of the stuff that Leslie's recommended so far.
I know. Oh, you know what? I have, Ashley, don't have that one, but I have, what's his other book that everybody talks about? Something Indians.
Oh, I think Steve bought
here it is. The Only Good Indians. I need to read that
somewhere around here.
So I've heard a lot of good things about him as an author. I don't think I've heard a single bad thing about any of his books yet. Thank you, Leslie.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to add more books to my list. Like right now.
I haven't read IQ or 1Q84. I have it right here on my TBR shelf. I will get to it. But, I did read like the first chapter before I bought it, because I always do that before I buy a book. And I did think that the female who's the main character in this book is female, which the other books I've read of him, they're all male. And I did think it was good, but I didn't, the first chapter, you never really know. But that's good to know that he gets better with that one. You don't know, maybe the short stories in his newer book are actually older stories, and he just hadn't quite gotten better yet. Oh, that must be the main, is that the main character from JB's book? I really need to read Unplugged.
Yeah, I saw that Ashley did a video. That was her video that she put out this week, but I'm afraid to watch because I think I want to read it, and it didn't say spoiler lists or not, so.
Oh, so many comments. I can't get it. No. The Only Good Indians is Leslie's favorite book of the year.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to read it. Steve's down there in the chat saying it's here on the shelf behind me. I knew I saw it somewhere. Couldn't remember if it was on Goodreads or if it was a package I opened, because I open all the packages around here. There are a lot of books for Steve.
It is. This was one I was going to see if I could get it read this month so I can get lots of points. But this thing is 1,200 pages. Well, 1,157 pages. And I couldn't make that commitment for one book this month. Better for Him still isn't the best. Yeah. Really? I didn't know that about him. I honestly don't know anything about him, but I've heard there's some really good documentaries. I don't know if you could call them documentaries, that he or interviews where he talks about some of the ideas that he comes up with on his stories, which read it in a week. You read IQ84 in a week, Jamie?
That's crazy.
Jeez.
That would be some major readathon points, though.
Yeah. You'd have to do like a 72-hour readathon to finish something like that. Actually, I did watch your Reincarnate video. And that was that's the one that she just
did. That's the one. I watched the very beginning of it, and then I thought maybe I want to read this book blind. So I put it in my bookmarked, save for later.
She says there's no spoilers, but she does explain. Well, you know what? She doesn't really say that much about it. Kind of just the premise, like the very high level premise. So I could say like two things about what the book is about, and the rest about what she liked and didn't like about it. So. Rahul, you have a lot of excuses for not joining my live streams. Just saying.
Blame the fireball.
I really need to read it. If you can read it, that's the fastest thing you've ever read. It must really be good.
I bet there was a slump after you watch I would watch a lot of TV after that amount of pages.
So it's funny that you say that about that book, but this is the longest book on my shelf.
Whoa.
This is Brandon Sanderson's Oathbringer, and this is the third book in the Stormlight Archives. And this one is 1,255 pages.
Goodness.
And actually, that includes a little bit of a No, that's it.
Have you read it?
I haven't read this one. This is my TBR, but the other two are just as long. I think they might be a little bit shorter, maybe like 50 pages shorter. And I read them pretty fast, but they are, his writing style is just where you just fly through the pages.
Yeah, that's good. That's how I felt about Court of Mist and Fury. I mean, it just, you kind of speed through it. It wasn't quite that thick, but
you had one panel today?
Oh, he had a panel.
How many of those are you doing? I didn't even know you had another panel today, Raul. I missed it.
He's a busy guy. Reading books in 2 minutes and then panels all over.
And he had to take a nap because he was up late reading, adding 16 books to his
He's a night guy like
pile. So, curious, Raul, how many books have you read this month, and what was your favorite so far? Anybody who's watching, if you guys want to jump on to the stream on camera, let me know. I'll send you the link, the StreamYard link, and you can join us. So back to the Olympics readathon. We talked about our least favorite, our most favorite. Anybody here who is also doing the Olympics readathon, what team are you on? And what book did you read for your team prompt? Brandy, what did you read for your team prompt?
I'm on Team Aphrodite, and the prompt for that is A Beautiful Cover. Mm-hmm. So I picked that as A Court of Mist and Fury. Also, it was the biggest book I read, so I figured it could maximize the points. Because you get double points for reading under your team prompt. So,
Leslie, we know you're on Team Athena.
No, we all ended up on different teams. Yolene's
I know,
on a different
it's so
team.
Cool.
It's been fun.
So I'm on Eos. You're Aphrodite. Yolene is Nyx, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And Leslie is Athena.
She's the captain.
She's a captain. JV says Raul's read 73 books this month.
Oh, Raul.
Athena. Leslie, have you read anything for the Athena prompt yet? I read, I put A Court of Mist and Fury for Athena because I knew it was going to have a lot of political intrigue in there. And it was really the only book that I wanted to that I had to read this month that really fit that prompt. So it was perfect, and it was a good number of pages. So I got lots of points.
My Athena was Kings of
Team
Heaven.
Eos. Sorry, what were you saying, Brandy?
Oh, my Athena was Kings of Heaven, and it has a lot of political intrigue. So I felt like it did anyway.
4 panels. Jeez.
Christine, see, I gotta read it.
You gotta read it.
I need to start reading more Stephen King, and I'm excited. We're gonna read Dark Tower. We talked Stephen.
Let's see if Steve actually, if he doesn't bail on that. Although he hasn't bailed it yet.
He has to.
Tigana. Somebody else who was watching earlier is also reading Tigana right now.
What did you read for Eos?
Me?
Yeah.
So I read that manga Death Note.
Oh, yeah, you said that already.
Yeah. I had planned to read The Ninth Reign. That book has been on my TBR every month since February, and I just haven't gotten to it. I think it's not because I don't want to read it, but it has no audiobook option at all because I think it's only, well, I know that you could only buy it in English in the UK, but I think it's originally written in another language, and I can't remember what. I want to say German, but I don't know that's true. And so the only audiobooks are in the original language. And so lately I really like that immersive reading where you're listening and reading. And so I've been putting off Ninth Reign to read other things. Leslie, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either. It was kind of an average manga for me. But I don't have a whole lot of experience with manga. I read Full Metal Alchemist was my first ever, and I read that last year, and I read the first 9 volumes. I loved it. It was so good. And Death Note just was it just wasn't. It was actually the later volumes were better than the beginning, so it got better. It's great from the pro. Oh, Tigana.
Oh
So
my
Reading
gosh.
Rainbow is also reading Tigana. That's right.
I love that name, Reading Rainbow. I just got it.
I just now did too because I said the whole thing.
That's awesome.
I listened to the audiobook a little bit too. I got it from the library, but I didn't like the narrator. So I think I know that there was some parts in it. So there's a character in the story that kind of changes throughout the book. And I noticed that the narrator kind of changed his voice to kind of show the change in the character. And I liked that. But the character's original voice was really annoying. And so I read the first half of the book without listening to the audio. And then I put the audio on towards the end.
I love that little excerpt you sent me that kind of matched up to Nosferatu.
There are so many other things in that book. I didn't want to tell you any others because they would be spoilers.
Yeah.
But there are other parts in it where you're like, I wonder if Joe Hill, got, these little Easter eggs.
He just went all out in Nosferatu with all the Stephen King Easter eggs.
Yeah. I did connect it first, so I watched the anime. Oh, I didn't. I think I did. I didn't know there was an anime. I thought there was a movie for it. Maybe I'll have to check it out. I saw something in Twitter, Raul, that you talked about. You're going to write something. I'm very interested to see what you come up with. So make sure you share it so we can all read it.
Is it Is it scary? Is it horror? Is it fantasy?
I think in Twitter he said it was going to be queer horror.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so don't watch the movie.
I could hear her saying that too in her accent.
Okay, so is everybody ready for another reading sprint? Raise your hand.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to do another 20 minutes. We'll start here in a couple minutes. So that will bring us to 5 after the hour. I'll set my timer and do my little banner because, I'm getting cool at this. Oh, and it saves your banners too, so you can just edit them.
Is that StreamYard that you make the banner? Oh.
So, let me see. Yay! Okay, Raul raised his hand, so he's ready to read.
He's going to read a whole book.
Reading?
He'll be finished
20 minutes.
With this book in 20 minutes.
20 minutes, Raul, to read a whole book.
I'm sorry, Raul. Is it old that we tease you like that? We love you.
All right, how many pages are you going to read, Brandy? What's your goal?
I'm going to say 10 because I'm reading slow on the sprint. It's a slow sprint. I'm going to try to do 10.
All right, I said I did 13. I'm going to try to do one more page this time for 14. So I got to really pay attention. So Raul's reading Unplugged too. Man, we should just do a 24-hour readathon of Unplugged and have everybody reading Unplugged.
I bet Steve has it here. Watch, he'll tell me it's in the shelf.
Okay, we're going to start now. See you guys in 20. Have fun.
It was as if a dead.
Okay, everyone, time's up. I, again, only got 12 pages this time, but that's not bad. How about you,
I got
Brandy?
9. I got 9, one away from my 10-page goal. I had to
So
go to the
close.
restroom break, though. I would have made it.
So we had a few comments while we were reading. Daniel doesn't like that my idea for the 24-hour unplugged. Daniel, you do it and I will join. So how are you liking it?
It's good. There's some action happening. It's really giving me. Have you ever seen this show, Black Sails? It was a Starz show about pirates. It's giving me pirate vibes. I mean, it says on the book that she's like a Lady Jack Sparrow, but really, it's giving me vibes of that show that I think it's modeled. It's actually modeled after a book. I think it's Treasure Island. They take pieces.
Oh.
I can't say for sure. I don't want to say for sure, but I think it's a really good show. It was one of my favorite shows, and it's giving me those kind of. There's a pirate lady in that show, and she's pretty awesome. So
I'll have to look at it. I haven't seen it. Is it kind of? Didn't Starz also do the Vikings? I think my husband really liked that show.
I think the Vikings started out on history, but then it moved somewhere else. I want to say somebody else bought it up or something. I'm not sure.
Popcorn sounds really good, JB.
I got some popcorn here.
So I was looking for snacks, and the only thing I have is like Cheetos and Doritos, and I refuse to eat those while I'm reading.
I know. I was thinking about eating this, and then it's white cheddar. And I ate one of these in my car the other day, and it's just white powder everywhere. So I'm thinking I probably don't want to do that to Steve's desk.
You can always clean it. He won't know.
Yeah, he would never know.
Raoul, that's right. You guys have the unplugged discussion on Monday. I haven't read it, so I probably won't join. I might come in the beginning before you guys start spoiling everything. Mistborn. I forgot you're reading that, JB, because you talked about on Twitter if you should buy or should get the Stormlight Archives. Just you said you just bought all 3 of them, so just keep in mind. Yeah, this is probably all 3 Mistborn books in length, but they're really good. White cheddar popcorn.
Yeah, it's so good.
And here I was thinking he was over there slaving on the stove, popping some fresh homemade pop. No, nobody does that anymore.
I do. I still do that. Not today, but.
So my husband does, but I don't because I don't like anything with oil.
I have a special designated pot that I use just for
popcorn? Really?
Yeah. My kids like it, so my mother-in-law taught me how to make it. So I just started making it for them.
We bought this. It's like a yeast that tastes kind of like cheddar.
Yeah, like nutritional yeast.
Yes, that's it. And my husband puts that on it.
Yeah, that's good.
So Raul. I'm sorry, I clicked off his chat. Those who are watching, Raul has the unplugged discussion live tomorrow at 5 p.m. And the first half will be just an author chat. So if you haven't read Unplugged, you could still join for the author chat, and then you can drop off before the discussion. But I've met JB. He's awesome. You guys should go check that out. Raul, you're so stupid. We're not talking. Oh, now I'm not going to be able to make popcorn without that, without seeing that. Team Ayos, Heather. Hope you're getting lots of pages read then, so that we get points, so we can beat Team Athena and Aphrodite. Sorry, Brandy, but
Everyone on my team's just so nice. I'm
everybody in
figuring out the
BookTube is
Discord
nice.
thing. I feel like the worst teammate ever because they have all this great chatter going on Discord, and I try. I just can't figure it out. I gotta have my kids help me with it.
That's me
but I've
too.
been really good these last couple days posting pictures and trying to engage in the conversation there. Everybody's just so nice.
Hey, 5 books is still really good, Heather.
That's good.
I have literally not done anything but read. I don't know if you guys have noticed, those who subscribe to my channel, but I haven't put out anything except for live streams this month.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my next Stacy video.
Sorry. I have a bunch of tags that I need to do. A bunch of tags people have put me, have tagged me on. And the one I'm really excited about is the Loteria tag that Raul tagged me on, because I have the bingo cards and everything, and I'm getting ready to put together my July TBR. So I'm going to do that one. And I don't think it's going to be a drunk tag, though. I don't have the guts that Raul has.
You gotta be drunk.
I don't think I can do it. You don't want to see me drunk. I don't even remember the last time I really got drunk.
Well, that last what was that last stream we did, the Just Because stream?
Mm-hmm.
I may have been a little buzzed.
I saw. Did you have your own glass, or were you stealing from Steve that whole time?
Well, I did have a glass. We made like a whiskey and Coke, and then he brought a bottle of whiskey in here and was pouring us. We had after we finished our Cokes, then he was pouring us whiskey. And I may have taken a 3-hour nap after that.
3 hours?
I crashed hard. I don't drink a lot, so it was just like, whoo. I'm glad I didn't say anything stupid, though.
It'll be fine, JB. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
That's so sweet. You know what? I cannot. Ever since I was a teenager, I wanted to write a book, and I at one point decided it just wasn't my thing. I'm really good at coming up with ideas as a reader. I think most of us are really good about coming up with ideas that would make great stories, but not all of us have the talent. And JB, you should be proud of yourself. You know, even if people weren't digging it, you did something that a lot of us don't have the guts to do.
Yeah.
But I'm glad people like it, and I'll get to read it. And but yeah, you should be very proud of yourself. All right, so let's go back to talking about the Readathon. So we talked about what we've read, what we liked, what we didn't like. I'm curious, how many books are you planning to read? Let me get rid of this banner since we're already back. How many books are you planning to read the rest of the month? And what is your most anticipated read for this month that you're really excited to get to?
I'm planning to read all 16 prompts, I hope. My most that I have left anticipated book, I don't know. I want to read Dark Sea's End by Richard Nell, and I think it's gonna be my Poseidon book.
Okay.
I was thinking about reading it next month because I did Kings of Heaven this month, and I don't know, but I really can't. I keep seeing people's reviews and stars for it, and I just really want to fit it in. So I'm excited to read that one. Also, I have the Sweeney Sisters. I just picked. This was one of those books I just saw and thought was cute at Barnes and Noble.
Okay.
It just looked cute, and it's a found family trope, so it's my found family.
That's Hestia?
I think so. Yeah. That would be Hestia. So those 2 I have left, and then I'm gonna do this whole pirate thing is fun so far. So
Yeah, you've got like a whole pirate theme going for a lot of your books.
Yeah.
I want to read three more this month, and Salt Blood. I saw I think Raoul posted something that he just recently bought that book, and Mistborn, and read the Lathe of Heaven. I have not read anything by Ursula Le Guin. I have to look into that one. I know she's written a lot, but I haven't read anything by her. I am hoping, not counting what I'm reading now. Well, let's count it because I just started. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more books that I want to read. I've read 10, but I'm not sure I'm going to read Valor. So Valor is what I have for Aries.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I don't know. So I hope to read 5, so I won't get to all 16 prompts. And the one I'm most anticipated, I can't even say is my most anticipated because I'm actually reading it now. And so the other day, my son and I were at Barnes & Noble, and he picked up The Never-Ending Story. He said he wanted to read that. So we're reading that together. Every night we read a couple of chapters together, and I'm loving it. It's so much fun. And so that is my most anticipated. Every night I really look forward to reading those chapters with him.
I've never read that. I've only just seen it.
I love that movie, and until very recently, not this time, but maybe just a couple years ago, did I even find out it was a book. I always thought it was just a movie.
I didn't know it was a book. That's so cool.
And it's really fun. I haven't been reading that much to him now that he's older and reads it on his own. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of fun to have that time.
Yeah, it's sad when they get to that age where they just read. I mean, you're happy they read to themselves, but then you're like, oh. I was thinking that when I was braiding my daughter's hair the other night. She's taller than me, so I'm like reaching up to braid her hair. Oh. But I'm just like, just let me braid your hair a little bit longer. One day she's not going to ask. They grow fast.
I bought salt after a chat with her. Okay. Oh, that's neat. I did see some of that in Twitter. Rahul's talking about it here as well. So the proceeds of her book, any of her books, the proceeds go to the I'm not sure how you say that, Lancaster. Go there. You guys can see it on the screen. And I did see a little bit of her in the panel, but I didn't watch all of the panel. Raoul, I admit it.
I have been in my car all week. I feel so out of touch with everything right now. So this is the longest I've been home.
Really?
Today, I was gone every day this week. So, I mean, I read a lot because I drop kids off and I read, and I pick them up and I read. But just haven't seen my house or my TV or my YouTube stream in a while, or feed. So
you're behind.
I gotta catch up on everybody's videos.
I've been really bad about watching videos too. I just honestly, I haven't done anything. If I'm working, when I get off work, I'm reading. I take care of my family stuff. I read and then go to bed. And I just readathons are great because they really encourage you to read. But I might be a little bit obsessive.
I know.
Just a little.
I'm the same way. Now I have this list. I'm gonna finish it.
Well, good. I hope you do. I really wanted to get all 16 prompts, but I just don't think it's healthy for me because I want to find short books, but I also want to read stuff I already own. I don't want to have to go shopping and find more books. So
I wasn't sitting in the car waiting for my son a lot, there's no way I would be even close to reading 10 books right now. it's going to be that way through the summer. So I'm just going to.
Are you going to do the Indie Accords readathon next month?
No, I think I'm going to do a no TBR month. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said you were going to just wing it, right?
Oathbreaker, which that's one video I got to see on my phone in the car, and my phone was getting super hot. But I was so excited just to hear him talk about that book. I'm really excited, and our son's going to read it with us too. So I'm really excited to read that one. It just sounds like something we'll love. So excited. But that's really the only thing besides the second book after Blood Song that I have planned. And then everything else, I'm just going to see where the wind takes me next month.
Well, you're going to read A Court of Wings and Ruin next month. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
I have to read that.
I guess I already have 4 books on my TBR my non-TBR TBR.
You're not. So I was like, oh yeah, July's going to be easy. I don't have that many buddy reads. And then I started writing down and I was like, yeah, I do. Oh, that reminds me. So I still have to read Black Tongue Thief, which I couldn't find a prompt to stick that in because I already have stuff picked out for everything.
I was going to put it, I decided not to read it, but back when I was going to read it, I think I was going to put it in Hera because there is a matriarch, I think, in that book.
I already have the never-ending story for Hera because of the childlike empress. I don't know. You know what? It's a first in a series.
Yeah, I think it is going to be more than one book, isn't it?
Yeah. So I haven't read anything for Nyx yet. I was going to read. Oh no, Nyx is the last in the series. So Eos. I did read Death Note for Eos, but if I read Black Tongue Thief, it might be more pages. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know if you could change your prompts if you've already. I don't know. We'll see.
Sure. I'm sure you could fit it in somewhere.
So would you do a readathon like this again?
Yeah.
Where you have to be that particular about your TBR?
Yeah, it was really fun, and I really liked it. Because I do a TBR, and then throughout the month it just either changes or I get in a different mood and I don't stick to it. And I'm happy that only one thing pretty much changed, so.
That's really good.
We still have a week left. Things could really change.
I don't know. There's only 2 books on here that I didn't white out. No, 3. The Court of Mist and Fury, City of Blood, and Assassin's Quest are the only books that I read that I planned at the beginning of the month. Everything else has been whited out, and I read something else. Oh well.
I made sure I had lots of romance because that's what I really love, and I love reading fantasy. And oh my gosh, this is the most horror I've ever read because I read Nocturne, and then I've read both Daniel's first 2 books in the Nightmare Land, and I'm really proud of myself. And I read Nosferatu last month.
Yep.
Just really broadening my horizons.
And now you're actually going to read Christine?
I think I will. Mm-hmm.
I would think that's a pretty good place for you to start with King's older books. I didn't think so. It is very long, not Christine, but It, and a lot of people want to start there because it's the most popular. But it is long, and so I've noticed people that just end up stopping because it's just too much. But Christine's a good sized book, but it moved really quickly, and I really enjoyed it.
I read Pet Sematary when I was younger.
Oh, I haven't read that.
I used to steal my mom's Stephen King books. I did read it, but I don't.
You did?
As like a 12-year-old, but I don't remember any of it. I just stole it and was like reading through it, and I don't even know if I finished it, to be honest. But I used to take her. She had The Stand. She had Pet Sematary. I used to steal her books. Oh, it's got my tattoo. This one is my newest one.
What is it? I can't tell. My screen's too tiny.
So it's just some lilies with a butterfly. So I have a nephew that tattoos, and I have for the first maybe 6 years of his tattooing journey, I have one from every year.
Aww.
I got Steve here. It says on my arm. So he would come over. I got this tiger. I'm so bad about getting things in the camera. So I have this cool tiger, and one day he came over and I have something to ask you. And it's always, I was just thinking, oh great, what did you do now? Because he's young and I need you to do something. So he was, I really want to draw this lion or a tiger. I had no desire for a tiger on my arm, but he showed me the picture and I was just like, yeah, put it on there. So I've just let him put a bunch of stuff on me. Steve has a few too, and it's fun.
Misery is good, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one I really want to read. I saw the movie, but I hear the book is way better.
So I saw the movie many, many years ago. And so when I decided to read the book, I remembered the gist of it, but I couldn't remember all the details. And I think that kind of helped because I had already pictured the characters in my head when I was reading because I had seen the movie, but I still didn't remember how it all ended. So it was kind of cool. And then I watched the movie afterwards, and that movie is probably one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The actors do a really good job with that. I haven't read Dolores Claiborne. It's so funny because I always think I've read so many Stephen King books, and then somebody will be talking about, oh, have you read this? And it's like, no. Have you read this? No.
I feel like is that a movie though? I feel like I've seen that movie. Is it Kathy Bates too?
Kathy Bates plays in that one too, yeah. But I haven't seen it.
I can't even remember what it's about, but I feel like I've seen it. I can't remember.
We're reading Green Mile for the Constant Readers book club for July. So I haven't read that, but I have seen that movie. So I'm really looking forward to that as well.
That was a good movie too.
Talk about heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminded me when I was watching the movie of Mice and Men, like the same kind of. And I wonder if that was what inspired it.
I wonder, yeah. That would make sense.
I did not think Dreamcatcher was that bad. My husband and I still talk about shit weasels today. And if you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. But it was one of the very first Stephen King books that I had read of his newer stuff. So I'd read some of his old books when I was young too. And then I was like, horror's not my thing. And then when I first got my Audible account, I thought I'm going to go and find a good Stephen King audiobook. And that was the one I listened to. And yeah.
Not good? Or was it good?
Dreamcatcher?
Mm-hmm.
I liked it, but it was weird.
Yeah.
It was it was very weird. And a lot of people who are diehard fans don't think it obviously didn't like it.
Yeah.
JB, I guess you're one of those. But it's another one where it ties in some very, very subtle hints to some of his older works, like the Losers Club from It, and there's a couple of other like Easter eggs. And because I had read mostly his older works when I listened to it, because I technically did not read it, it was kind of cool to pick up on some of those things because it also takes place in Derry, and it was just really neat. But maybe that's why I liked it, because of the nostalgia. But yeah, the movie was horrible. I would not recommend seeing the movie.
I'm going to read the book.
I tried so hard. There's a portion where it's like 5 pages of a guy having.
On Green Mile or the
No, of Dreamcatcher.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. So this isn't a spoiler because it's kind of in the synopsis, but the story is about an alien invasion, and these particular aliens, kind of like the Aliens movie where they kind of grow inside you and then come out, they do the same, just not through your stomach. So that's why they're described in the book as shit weasels.
Okay, now I get it because you were saying.
Some books were so, yeah, so true. Oh, God, that ending. Ending.
I watched it. Steve and I watched it. I think we've seen it a couple times, maybe.
That has to be like
good.
The worst thing that could ever. I mean, because as a mother, I can really put myself in that character's situation, and to think of that happening to me, oh my God, I can't even think about it. It's so disturbing and upsetting. So I have to agree with you there, Reading Rainbow, because and I haven't read the book, and I've heard some people say that the ending of the book is different, and or maybe it was left open-ended, and so they had to add an ending to the movie. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Okay, the book did leave it open. I'm interested now to read the book because it's very short. I think it's like 100 and something pages.
It's a good movie.
Did I turn that off too fast for you?
No, I saw it.
Okay.
I'm kind of watching it on the side too because for some reason it's not popping up under. Steve texted me how to fix it, but
it's not showing up on your screen?
Sometimes it shows up underneath, and then sometimes I can just see it here on the side. So I'm seeing it.
So you said you haven't been able to watch a lot of TV or anything like that, mostly reading?
We're gonna start. We haven't watched any Sherlocks yet, so we gotta get our Sherlock in. We watch Chopped, or we'll watch Hell's Kitchen. It's just stuff like that. Our kids wanted to watch Sons of Anarchy, so we're kind of watching that right now. But oh my gosh, I forgot how horrible of I'm like the worst mom in the world. But they're older. My kids are older, so I mean they watch Game of Thrones. We're definitely at that age where my kids can start watching rated R's. So it's just always a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Still, as their parent to watch that stuff with them, but we maybe watch one or two of those episodes.
That's like your thing to do with the kids?
Yeah, we'll watch a little bit of TV when Steve's off. His team is in his basketball team that he likes is in the playoffs or finals, or I don't know. So we've been watching that. Not much TV though.
We started watching Westworld, which I had seen the first season of when it originally came out like 3 or 4 years ago, or maybe more. And I couldn't remember what happened. So when my husband and I were looking for something, we decided to go ahead and start that from the beginning. And yeah, that's not something that I can watch with my son in the room at all.
Steve and I watched the first season of that, and then I feel like we gave up a couple episodes into the second season. I can't remember what happened, but Steve can DNF a TV show like nobody's business. So I mean, he couldn't watch Nosferatu. He didn't really want to stick with Handmaid's Tale at all. We got to this season and he's like, yeah, I'm done. You can watch it without me. But I don't. I just read when he's not here. So.
Okay. Yeah.
But have you read those books, the Handmaid's Tale books?
No, I haven't.
Me either. They're on my shelf and I haven't read them. And I feel like I gotta leave some space between seeing the show and maybe reading the books later, because I hear that the show cuts off, or the books cut off, and then the show continues when there's no more books, kind of like Game of Thrones or something. And they kind of, I don't know, take it to weird places. So
I haven't seen the show at all or read the books. When I heard what the premise is about, I was just like, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah, it's rough.
But I mean, that I kind of like post-apocalyptic stories where they kind of delve into those kind of topics. You know, I don't even know how to explain it in generalities, but there's like a line for me when it comes to that, you know, sexual assault and things like that I struggle with. I don't like to read that. If it's part of a story and it has a purpose, yeah, okay, I can forgive it. But when it's the premise of the whole thing, no, I'm just gonna find something else to read. I just can't do it. I also don't like it when kids when there's a lot of violence towards children in books. So that's why we were talking about, Nosferatu. I was really hesitant to read that because I knew it essentially was a child murder, although not really. It turned out not to really be that.
I thought it was going to be worse than it was as far as that went, especially when you read the first couple chapters. I don't know if it spoils it, but he says something when he's in the mental institution in the first chapter, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know about this book. He's going to be murdering some children. But it really didn't turn out that way. I mean, it implies that he murdered children, I guess, but I don't know. I don't want to say too much in case somebody hasn't read it. But it was better than I thought it was going to be. I do have a really hard time with children getting hurt too, or horror movies where children are involved.
That's why I have never read Pet Sematary. And I saw the movie. Rough. Oh my God. I was in 5th grade, and I remember it clearly because we had just moved to this new town, and I met some friends in my class, and they were like, hey, have you been to the overpass? So there's like this place where there's like a creek, but the road goes over it. And underneath the cement part of the bridge, somebody had painted a pet cemetery on it. Oh. And they didn't tell me. And we were just talking about the movie, and they're like, hey, have you been there? So we went down there, and there's like these painted on tombstones and everything, and I just remember freaking out.
Gosh, was it a real pet cemetery, or was just somebody did that to freak?
No, it was just like graffiti, but it was enough for my 5th grade mind to freak out.
Well, that's about the time I watched that movie and read that book. Was 5th or 6th grade. So dumb, but I've never seen it as a mom or read it as a mom, and I think it would be really, really disturbing to me now, but I don't know. I'm afraid.
No, thank you. I don't need that, because I remember that scene with the boy. You know, I remember that so clearly. Isn't it weird how things stick with you? I mean, decades later. Mm-hmm. That is just no, thank you. All right, is everybody wanting to do one more reading sprint, another 20 minutes of reading?
I'm down.
If you're down, raise your hand. Is everybody going to stick with the same book? I'm curious. I know, JB, you said you're going to switch from Sarah's Claw to Mistborn for this last one. Are you going to stick with the same thing, Brandy?
I am, because I'm just going to get through this sucker by tomorrow.
Good for you. And then it'll only be 7 or 5 more after that, right?
I did read, I think I have 5 more after this, but I did read that lullaby book today, and I did read some Blood Song today. So this is my romance for the evening. It's supposed to be romance, but nothing romantic is happening here. So let's see.
Awesome, Reading Rainbow. Your name is so cool, but I'm gonna start saying Rainbow instead of Rainbow if
that's the best name.
Fast. Awesome. All right. So let's do another 20 minutes. So we'll come back at exactly the hour. So 10 o'clock Central Time. And here I am making my banner again. Oh, no, it didn't let me change it that time. All right. So we will come back at the top of the hour. See you guys in 20 minutes.
Have fun.
Bye. Have Time's up.
I think I read like 8 pages. My family is having a GIF war in the family text chat. And
Oh no.
they're just having some real gems here. Oh God. Very distracting. But
I've seen a lot of people talk about Piranesi, Heather. Sorry, Brandy.
Oh no, it's okay. Not important.
That's hilarious, though.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of fireworks going on right now in my neighborhood, and it really freaks my dogs out. So I texted the kids, to make sure all the dogs were in because they get really scared.
Why is there fireworks?
Oh gosh, because the 4th of July is next month. I don't know. I live kind of in a really like a rural area, and people do fireworks on weekends in the summer here. So as long as they're selling them, people are blowing them up.
Heather, I agree, and that's the reason why my spread on my bullet journal is full of whiteout, because as my mood changed, I kept changing what books I was going to read. But yeah, I like that too.
I do too. I could fit in all the fantasy I wanted to read, and then it forced me to read a little bit of horror, but also some of the romance stuff I wanted to read fit perfectly into some of the prompts.
That's perfect. Yeah.
I was so glad I didn't have to give up on my favorite books.
And it kind of makes you be a little bit inventive or imaginative, trying to find.
It was fun. Books. I thought it was fun. It was like a little game of bingo.
Yeah. I hope you continue to like Mistborn, JB. It's still my favorite of Brandon Sanderson's books, even though Stormlight Archive is really good and amazing. I guess because it's not completed yet, I can't say it's my favorite, but the Mistborn trilogy is awesome.
I have to add that to my list.
Oh, you've got so many books you're going to read.
I know. I'm writing stuff down.
So, Mistborn is high fantasy, so it's got a very complex magic system, but I really like it because once you understand the mechanics of the magic system, it's fun to kind of watch the characters use it in different ways. So they don't always use it the same way. And I really like that. Brandon Sanderson's really good about doing that. It's like as soon as the character figures out how to use their magic, they'll start to find ways around the limitations or the restrictions of it. And it's like, that's so realistic because we do that now with technology, right? We know that there are rules, but we find ways to break those rules and make it better. So it's great. But it can be a little bit dense because there's lots of pages just explaining. I don't think it's ever exposition where he's just talking about the magic, but there are a lot of scenes where you're just following the character as they're using their magic. But I think it was done really well. And that's my opinion. So everybody else, did you guys get some pages read during that sprint? I think I got another 12 pages. Yeah, exactly 12. So can't seem to break out of that 12. Gonna have
finding that I'm not as fast as I think I am. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just faster at certain times. I don't know.
Because I read beginning of the book.
Yeah, I'm at the beginning, and things are kind of hard to get started in this one, I think. It's just taking me a while to get into it. I read that, I don't know where I put it, but the road trip one that I read it in over a 24-hour period, and it was about 500 pages it was about 500 pages. And there was like really tiny words on the page. This one's so much bigger. The letters, the words is a lot less on the page, and I'm just not getting through it. Maybe it's just because I'm having a hard time getting into it.
That and Road Trip is a contemporary, right? So there's not a lot of world building, And fantasy or historical fantasy, you have a lot of worlds that you have to learn, and that can tend to bog you down.
Yeah.
Slow you down.
They talk about places on the ship. There's like a map of the ship in this.
Wow, that's detailed.
Yeah, it's not a very detailed map, but it shows, because she talks about different areas in the ship that she's in. So I've been referring to the different area of the ship just so I could picture it. But yeah, it's pretty. I think it's a cute little book so far, but it's just taking me a little bit to get into the story and just to see where this is going. I don't know.
I'm interested to see how much romance ends up being in it, since you said you thought it was romance.
I know I got this from a romance booktuber, but there's not really any romance right now. She talks about the guy that kidnaps her. He smells good. That's as close as it's gotten. She's like, usually pirates are ugly and smelly, and this guy's kind of good looking and he smells good. But that's as romance as it's gotten.
Oh, goodness.
And he's her kidnapper.
At least she picked a handsome kidnapper. It's going to be one of those, what's
like
that
a Stockholm?
Called? Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's like it's going to be a Stockholm thing. But I don't know if it can qualify as that because she tricked them into kidnapping her.
Oh, that's right.
So she could steal from them. So I don't know. It's really messed up so far.
Be an interesting twist. You have to let me know what you think once you finish it.
I will. How was yours?
It's good, but it's the beginning also. And Robin Hobb the beginnings of her books tend to be a little bit slower, even when it's in the same trilogy, just because she ends the one book off in a certain part, so that the next book you have to build back up to that climax. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So right now it's the characters dealing with the aftermath of the previous book, and you're just kind of going along with them in their day-to-day, their new day-to-day. And I love that about it, but it's not super exciting or anything.
Mm-hmm. It'll get there.
All right, well, it is 10 o'clock here, and if I don't put the kid to bed, he will be bouncing off the walls. So thank you, everyone who joined us and commented. I hope you guys got a lot of pages read, and if anything, you got a little bit of motivation to read. And go Team Aos, Heather, and Reading Rainbow. I'm so glad you guys could join for Team Aos. And I don't know if anybody was able to join from Team Aphrodite, but Brandy, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for doing this, Stacey. I was so excited to read with you guys again.
Thank you.
It's so much fun. I'm having fun.
It is fun. It's so different hosting, though. All the times that I've participated, it's different. Not in a bad way. It's just different. Like before,
you're
I
a really
could focus
good host.
On reading. Oh,
you're really good. And those games we were playing when we were text sprinting, so fun. You're good at this stuff.
Thank you.
JB,
thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's good seeing everybody.
We'll have to do this again. I want to do one a little earlier in the day so that Yolene can join us. So we'll have to find out what works for her, and we'll do that because it'll be fun to have her with us. And I don't know, Ashley, if you're still on, but thank you for trying to come in. I know you had plans and you stepped in for a little while. Really appreciate that. So you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Bye, everybody.